Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We are in my living room today because my back is really hurting me, and so I am using a heating pad and I don't feel like moving, and so you're gonna have to ignore the background noise of my sister making food in the kitchen, which should only be temporary, and also this really beautiful setup. But seriously, my back is killing, so this is what we're working with today. As you can tell by the title, I'm doing something that is probably stupid, and I am going to tier rank. This has been a trend that has been going around the internet and booktube for a while now. I'm gonna tier rank my TBR books. So I'm sure you've seen the videos where people predict their 5-star reads. I think I've done one, maybe two of these videos in the past. Probably shouldn't go watch them. They're probably really bad. I mean, go watch them if you want, but I would be cringing. So yeah, I'm going to do a tier ranking for my TBR books. I have 24 here. I think there are 24. At least, I hope. And I have a bunch of different categories, which I will go through in a second, but I just kind of wanted to, what am I trying to say? What are words? Words are hard. So yeah, for this video, I'm basically going to be mixing tier ranking with 5-star predictions, except I'm going to be predicting all of my rankings for these 24 books. If you think this video is stupid, let me know. If you like this video and want to see a part 2, let me know, because I obviously have way more TBR books that I could do this for, and so I'd be down to do a part 2. But anyway, so let's go through the categories before we get started with ranking these books. First category that we have all the way at the top is emotionally distraught, which basically is just like, tore my heart out, absolutely amazing, 5 out of 5 stars, but like, if I could give it 6 out of 5 stars, it would be that, because there are some books that I just genuinely, like, they deserve an extra something to let people know that this is, like, incredible. And for me, those books are ones that really emotionally connect with me, and I am like crying. So yeah, that's that one. That is like the equivalent of God tier. Then we have Mind Blown, which is another 5 out of 5 stars, but not as emotionally invested. I wouldn't die for these books, so that it could be, is equivalated a word? Because I was just about to use it. It would be equivalent to elite tier. And then we have Spoonful of Sugar.
Spoonful of Sugar,
which is like a 4.5 out of 5 stars if we want to get technical. It's really enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. Duh, dumbass. I really liked it. It's not crazy good, but you know, great. It is great. Also something that's really sweet, so I have a couple romances on this list, and those could possibly go into that category. And then we have Alright. Anybody who loves Matthew McConaughey, aka my mother, I think would appreciate this. I was trying to make them like kind of funny. So this one is like a really solid book, a solid like 3-4 stars. I'm not like crazy about it, but like I would recommend it. That's that one. And then we have Disappointed, not a bad book, just something that I am underwhelmed by. So it's like okay, but I expected more from it. And then we have What, which is, I don't know what I just read. I don't know what's going on. Probably a 2 stars. Then we have In Over My Head, which doesn't mean that it's a bad book, but I have like some adult books on here. Priory of the Orange Tree, I'm Looking at You. So those, like, I'm probably just not intelligent enough to understand what's going on, and I probably should have waited a couple years to have read it. And then we have Uncomfy, which like it made me uncomfortable to read, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, so we'll just have to see with the books. I didn't make these with specific books in mind, but one that I would put in Uncomfy that I have read is This Is Where It Ends by... I don't know the author's name exactly, and I also don't know how to pronounce it, so I'll put it up on the screen, but this was about a school shooting, and it made me really uncomfortable, and so I just didn't rate it because I didn't know how. So it could make me uncomfortable in a way that like it is just a really hard topic, and so I don't know like what to do about it. Or it could be that it's like gross and I didn't like it, so we'll just again go book by book for that. And then I Don't Know How to Feel is kind of similar, but not in a sense that it's like gross. I think this one is going to be more of like the This Is Where It Ends, so I probably should have not said that, I spoke too soon. But Uncomfy I guess we'll just reserve for like books that made me feel gross. And then I Don't Know How to Feel will be the ones that are a little bit hard-hitting and probably going to be hard to rate because maybe I didn't necessarily enjoy them. Enjoy wouldn't be a word that I use to describe it, but definitely impactful and thought-provoking. So that's what we have. I only did 24 books because I got really lazy after screenshotting pictures for 24 books. So that's where we're at. But let's get started. I am really excited. I've had this video for a while. I've had this idea for a while, and I really wanted to film it before anybody else had this idea. I don't think that anyone will, not because I'm super original, but because maybe it's like dumb. But maybe it's not, and maybe people will enjoy it. So let's get started. I also have Goodreads pulled up so that I can refresh my memory for some of these and give you proper synopses. As with every video, the Goodreads links will be down below, so if you want to go check these out for yourself, you are obviously more than welcome to. If you are watching this immediately after it was posted, then it may take me a second to get the description done, but if you come back later, I promise they'll be there. So let's get started. First up is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. For this one, I've seen a lot of people rank this as a 5 out of 5 stars, and it's one of their like favorite young adult thrillers. This is about a girl who is investigating a cold case from her town, or not a cold case, but a case where this girl that everyone knew, I think maybe she went to school with, was murdered by her boyfriend, and then her boyfriend Sal committed suicide, not the main characters but the girl who died, and she is researching this case for a project, and she realizes that maybe it's not what it seems. For this one, I'm gonna say mind blown, because I do think, okay, why is this happening to me? I do think that it's gonna end up being a 5 out of 5 stars, but I don't think that it's gonna be like emotionally distraught. I don't think I'm gonna be super invested in the characters that way, but I do think it's gonna be a really good book and one that I really enjoy. At least that's what I'm hoping. At first I wasn't sure, but after seeing more and more people rate it that way, I definitely think it's gonna go in Mind Blown. And slowly but surely making my way through Cassandra Clare's books, and this is the first book in the Last Hours series, which is the sequel series to the prequel series, The Infernal Devices. So this is the series that comes after that chronologically, but not publication-wise. So this is her most recent book in the Shadowhunter Chronicles world, and this one I have a feeling is gonna go, okay, why is this happening? I have a feeling this one is gonna go in emotionally distraught, just because, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna love it. Most people have been saying that this is their favorite Cassandra Clare book to date. A lot of people have been crying, and it's been really hard for me to refrain from watching all of the reading vlogs because it just seems amazing. But yes, this is following the children of the characters in The Infernal Devices, which I have been enjoying a lot more than The Mortal Instruments. I still enjoy both, but I have a feeling that I'm going to love this. So then we have Belle Revolt by Lindsay Miller. I have a feeling that this one is gonna go in either Spoonful of Sugar or Alright, Alright, Alright. This is a book where it's two girls who switch lives. So one girl is wanting to be a physician and the other girl wants to be like a noblewoman, I think. I have a feeling that this will probably be in Alright, Alright, Alright. I feel like it's going to be a solid 4 stars, but like a lower 4 stars. I think that I'm going to really fly through it, but it's not going to be anything crazy. So that is what I'm going to do for that. Next we have The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. I have read a bunch of their books at this point. They are an author duo. I've read nearly everything by them except for their like Beautiful series, as well as their young adult book. I think other than that, I have read all of their adult romance contemporary books. This one is following these two assistants that work for these people that are on like an HGTV show, kind of like Fixer Upper. And I think that the assistants are falling in love while trying to keep their bosses from fighting. Maybe. That's kind of what I'm getting from it. And just specifically because of the HGTV aspect and like assistants, I have a feeling that this one's gonna go in Spoonful of Sugar. Okay, why? What just happened? Hold on. I don't know what's going on with my fingers. I have a feeling this is going to go in a Spoonful of Sugar just because I think I'm going to really enjoy it, and I don't know. I'm hoping anyway. Recently I haven't loved their work, but I've also been reading a bunch of their backlist, so this one I do think I'm going to enjoy though. I don't think I'm setting my expectations too high. I think it's going to be a solid like 4 stars. Because it doesn't sound like it's going to be hard-hitting like Love and Other Words was. I think it's going to be more of like a rom-com. So 4 stars. Then we have Party of Two by Jasmine Guillory. This is another author that does like rom-com books, and typically will get 4 stars from me, but some of her books I don't enjoy, and her sophomore novel, what was it? The Proposal, I was not crazy about, but I do think I'm going to enjoy this one. I can't remember which characters this follows, so I'm gonna say Spoonful of Sugar, but let me pull up the synopsis to see if I like these characters. I just looked it up on Goodreads, and it's about these 2 politicians that get involved after Olivia, the female protagonist, doesn't necessarily want to, but they end up getting romantically involved and they start secretly dating, and then when they go public they are under the scrutiny of the media, and Olivia is seen as like a trophy girlfriend, and it's like, can their relationship stand the test of public scrutiny? So I do think, based on the synopsis, it's gonna go in Spoonful of Sugar, but it could be Alright, Alright, Alright. I'm really hoping it's not going to go to Disappointed. Then we have What Kind of Girl by Alyssa Sheehan-Mel. I saw Katie from Kate's Book Date recently read this, and she really enjoyed it. This is about a girl who she goes to the principal's office, I think, one day in school, and she has clearly been abused by her boyfriend, and the school is kind of divided because a lot of people really like her boyfriend. He's like the star athlete, like a really popular guy at school. So the school is divided between people who believe her and people who side with him, and you're getting a bunch of different points of view. I recently read a book by this author and was really underwhelmed by it, so I'm gonna put this, but I've heard such good things and this is a plot that sounds really good. I'm gonna put this in I don't know how to feel because it is such a heavy subject matter that I feel like that is probably where it's gonna end up going. Then we have Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. This is a book that I got in a fairy loot box and honestly probably wouldn't have purchased on my own or wouldn't have picked it up on my own. I obviously haven't read it yet, but like it probably wouldn't be on my shelves right now if it were not for the fairy loot box. I'm gonna put this one in alright. The plot isn't something that necessarily intrigues me. It is a Bolivian-inspired fantasy, and I consistently forget the plot every time I read it. Like, immediately I'm like, okay, like that, whatever. So I don't know how I'm gonna end up feeling about this one. I am going to read it, but I don't know how I'm gonna feel. So I think I'm gonna put this one in alright. I think it's gonna be a solid book, but probably not like a new favorite by any means. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong with the ones that I put in, you know, the lower categories, but that's just the gut feeling I have. Then we have Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is one that a lot of people love. Everyone the world has conquered death essentially, and people are not necessarily immortal because they can die, but things like cancer and hunger, those problems have all been solved. There's a solution for all of them. Duh. And so the only way that people die and the population can be controlled is there are these people called scythes that have to glean them / kill them. I think this one's gonna go in Mind Blown. I don't think that I think it's gonna be like a solid 4.5, 5 out of 5 stars, but I don't think I'm going to be super emotionally invested in it, that it would be emotionally distraught. So it's gonna be Mind Blown. Then we have Lucky Caller, which is a podcast story. This one automatically Spoonful of Sugar. This is a young adult contemporary, so I definitely think it's going to be a really sweet story. It also kind of reminds me, the plot anyway, reminds me of Listen to Your Heart by Casey West, which is a book that I absolutely loved. And that one took place by the lake, which is why it got a 5 out of 5 stars for me, because it felt really nostalgic. But I did really love the podcast element, and I thoroughly enjoy young adult contemporaries as is. So I think that this is going to be a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Plus, Emma Mills has a lot of really great reviews on BookTube for the rest of her books. So next we have Children of Time by this author. Cannot pronounce it. This one is actually one that my sister-in-law recommended to me. I have a review coming soon. It's just a really long video, and so I've edited most of it, but I have to re-watch it, and I've been dragging my feet. On a book that we both buddy read called Semiosis by Sue Burke. It is a book, it's another like dystopian sci-fi book where it's the exact opposite of Scythe. Earth is no longer inhabitable, and so these people are sent to live on a new planet, and they kind of just have to figure it out. And I guess this is kind of a similar plot line, except she said it was done way better, everything that she wanted and hoped for out of Semiosis. And there are like these spider villains, and for that I'm going to put it, for that, I'm gonna put it in Mind Blown. She gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, said that the sequel was not good, in her opinion, so I probably won't read that, but I do really want to read Children of Time. So, yes. Mind Blown, I have a feeling that I'm gonna really enjoy it. Our tastes don't necessarily align most of the time, but when she really enjoys a book, I typically also thoroughly enjoy it. The opposite cannot be said. Carrie, I'm sorry. She also has a YouTube channel, so if you're interested, I will have that linked down below. She does a bunch of freelance videos, and I think that they're really entertaining, so if you are at all interested in that, definitely check it out. We also have a video up together on her channel. So the next one is Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar. I apologize. That is probably not how you pronounce that. But this one is about a girl who is the daughter of a star and a mortal. And when her father, the mortal, he has fallen ill, she has to go to the celestial court and visit her mother. This one is either emotionally distraught or mind blown. I feel like it's going to be mind blown, but I'm hoping it's emotionally distraught, so I'm kind of like putting it in mind blown tentatively. But yeah, she has to go to the celestial court to get help for her father, and it sounds like it's going to be really interesting. It, I guess, meets the Goodreads synopsis says that it is a mixture of Neil Gaiman's Stardust with Hindu mythology, which sounds really interesting. So then we have The Whisper Man, and for this one, I'm going to put it in emotionally distraught. This is a thriller where I think this kid goes missing and there's a serial killer. I'm putting it in emotionally distraught because Kayla from Books and Lala compared this to A Monster Calls, which is one of my favorite books of all time. And so because of that, that is a book that made me emotionally distraught, and she said it had similar themes. So automatically emotionally distraught. Very vague synopsis because, like I said, it's a thriller and I don't like knowing a ton about that. Then we have Night Film, which is another adult thriller. This one is going to go in mind blown. This, I guess, is a like suspense thriller investigation novel about this reporter or detective who like there's a director, and he is a really well-known director and people really love his work, so much so that he has like a cult following, and then I think his kid commits suicide, and it may not have been a suicide, it may have been intentional and a murder, and so it's being investigated. So I'm gonna put that, that's by Marisha Pessel, by the way. I don't remember if I said that, but Night Film, I feel like it's gonna go in mind blown. Then we have Eight Will Fall. I think this is gonna be not mind blowing, but like not Spoonful of Sugar. I feel like it's gonna be alright. I feel like this is gonna be 4 to 5 stars. This is about a group of people who have to go exploring this like underground cave thing, I think, for this, their like ruler, and they all have special abilities. This is another one that I got in a fairy loot, another one that I probably wouldn't have picked up on my own, but I am really excited to get to it. It sounds like it's going to be really interesting, so that's where it's going. Then we have Lady Midnight, which I feel like is gonna go in emotionally distraught. This is about Emma and Julian. This is another work of Cassandra Clare's. This is the first book in the Dark Artifices series. It's following Emma and Julian, who are parabatai, but I think that they're also in love, which is forbidden, I'm pretty sure, and I love a good forbidden romance. Plus, this is a really thick book, which I love, and it is a Shadowhunter book, which I have been loving, so that's where that's going. That's all I have to say. Okay, the next one, I just refreshed my memory for the synopsis. This is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, and I have a feeling that this is going to go in emotionally distraught. This is about a mother and daughter that could not be more dissimilar, and the only thing that keeps them kind of together is their family anchor, which is Clara, the main character's dad, or is Clara the main character? Yeah, Clara is the main character. Clara's dad and Morgan's husband, Chris, and then one day he is involved in a tragic accident and they might fall apart. That sounds heartbreaking, emotionally distraught for sure. Then we have Priory of the Orange Tree, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video. In Over My Head, this is like an 800-page fantasy, which I feel like is going to be really good, but also I might be too dumb to understand it. Then we have Clockwork Princess, which I feel like is going to go in Emotionally Distraught, and I'm going to move Lady Midnight down to Mind Blown. Everyone says that the ending of Clockwork Princess is like heartbreaking, and I cried reading Clockwork Angel, and that book wasn't even sad. So then we have Time of Our Lives, which I have really high expectations for, but I feel like it's gonna go in disappointed. I recently read If I'm Being Honest by Austin Siegmund Broca and Austin Siegmund Broca and Emily Wibberley. Good Lord, that took forever. And I had such high expectations for that book, and it really fell for me. So I'm still gonna read this, but I have a feeling it's gonna be disappointing. I don't want it to be, but that's what I think it's gonna be. Then we have Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This, I have a feeling, is going to be a Spoonful of Sugar. This was one of my most anticipated releases, if not my most anticipated release of last year. Still have not gotten to it. Still completely ashamed of that. This is Project Runway meets Mulan, and it sounds incredible. Then we have The Art of Breaking Things, which I feel like is gonna go in I Don't Know How to Feel. This is about a girl who, it sounds like her stepdad is maybe abusive, and he is counting on her to keep quiet about it, but she is finally going to do something about it based on the synopsis, which is really vague. That is my interpretation and my inference. I could be completely wrong though. Then we have Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. I don't know if this is a contemporary or a thriller, but I feel like, I don't know, because I don't know what the plot is. It's so vague. It's just about a bookstore that stays open 24 hours, and the main character needs a job, and so he takes it, but he's not sure about all of the activity. I feel like this is gonna go in what? Not that it's gonna be bad, but I'm just confused. Actually, I think it's gonna go in Mind Blown, because right now I'm confused, but once I read it, I have a feeling I'm gonna really enjoy it. So then we have The Poppy War, which could easily go to Emotionally Distraught. This is about a girl who I believe is an orphan and has to take a test to be trained to go to war, and she ends up acing it. Nobody knows how, because she's not supposed to be all that intelligent. And apparently it's really, really gory, and I think that this is inspired by the Opium Wars. Maybe not though, I could be wrong. And that is by R.F. Kong. Then lastly but not least, we have Aurora Rising, which I feel like is going to go to Spoonful of Sugar. Again, I have a feeling that I'm going to really love this. I haven't read the Illuminati Files, but this just sounds so cool. It's about a group of kids that are like space cadets, and they have to like save the world, and this girl named Aurora is randomly found floating off in space. She was in cryocell, is that what it's called? She was like frozen basically for many, many years and like lost in space. So then this guy rescues her and has a bunch of misfits, and then they have to like save the galaxy. So yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be amazing. It kind of reminds me of Ender's Game a little bit, which is one of my favorite books of all time as well. So yeah, those were all 24 of the categories. I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope that this wasn't completely horrible to watch. I apologize for the length of this video, because right now the raw footage is at 37 minutes. So yeah, I think I'm going to use this template again if you guys want to see this video, and I'll do more books. I didn't end up using every single category, but that's just because I didn't include some books that I that would have fit. So, but yeah, hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you're all staying safe. I really hope that you're all doing well, reading, mentally, and otherwise. Let me know if you liked this, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.